we're going to spend the next 40 minutes in understanding how to be stress-free forever. Navigating your career, navigating your life, navigating everything in relationships, in finances, in physique, every aspect of life. Especially because we are addressing Tamil Nadu's biggest ever career guidance conference. I'm going to be focusing a little about how to apply this in your career. And whether you're 20 today or 40, it doesn't matter. You still have a lot of change happening which you have to navigate through, especially change that is enforced by the current happenings like COVID and by ongoing happenings which will not stop of technology, of IR4. And we've not got to come to the stage where just because a machine is capable of doing what we do, we feel stressed and we feel redundant. We may get downsized, we may get replaced, but we will not be stressed. We will find ways to get over it and stay strong forever. If that's interesting to you, invite other people right now, let them register, because the core of the session is going to start in about 5 minutes, before which in the next 5 minutes I'm going to take you through a very interesting person. So you can invite friends so that they can be part of the core of what we're talking about, and they will of course not be able to meet Professor Richard Wiseman. I'll talk to you about him for a few minutes. This guy is a professor in the United Kingdom, and he has spent a lifetime in researching what makes some people lucky and some people unlucky. Okay, he's done a lot of other research and a lot of experiments. And why I bring this up to start is because a lot of people tend to think that people who have excellent careers, very balanced lives, are basically lucky people. Well, so he had two sets of people in one of his experiments. One who were proven to be lucky. Whatever happened, they felt that, life goes for them. And the other who were proven unlucky. Like whatever happened, they always believed that life sucks. It doesn't work for them. All right. So to both these groups, he handed out a newspaper. And he said, you've got to find the number of photographs in the newspaper. And if you get the answer right, you'll get 50 pounds. That's as simple as that. So both groups started going through the paper. What he did not tell them is that he had planted a half-page advertisement, big one, with big bold letters somewhere in the middle of the paper. And that advertisement said that if you find this ad, stop searching for pictures and ask for 50 pounds. Okay. There were no pictures in that ad. Now what he found is that the group that tended to be lucky all the time, that's the group that stopped at that ad more often. In fact, most of the time. Whereas the unlucky group, they put their blinkers on, they were looking for pictures, and some of them got the answer right, some of them got it wrong, doesn't matter, life went on. Based on this and numerous other experiments, which I am not part of, but I have been given to understand, go to his credit, he has concluded that there are several factors that make people lucky. And one of the primary factors and one of the primary things that he found in common to people who are lucky was the fact that they were not stressed. The idea of being without tension, being stress-free, was integral to them. And they applied that idea at a very root level. It's not like they had green tea or they were binging on Netflix all the time and things like that, some of the low stress. No, it's not like high stress, low stress at different points in time. It's about being in a state without tension and anxiety. How would you like that for you? That's what we are tackling today. So if you like that, just type a yes in the comments box and we will go forward. So let's just see how you guys are doing. Yes, I see long tail S's, very nice. So let's take a quick look at where we stand, all right? And this look is about the signs of stress. Now I'd like you to look at this chart and make it a little bigger for you and see if any of these signs, whether they are physical symptoms or emotional or behavioral or psychological, is something that you encounter in your life. Do you come across tiredness, for example? Do you come across unexplained aches and pains, diarrhea, or constipation? Any kind of stomach upsets, not able to sleep properly, getting irritated about small, small things, not feeling that anybody's supporting you, a sense of loneliness, even depression, anything of that sort. Or, just being anxious, not knowing why I'm anxious, but I'm anxious. Stuff like that. Or forgetful, unable to focus. Anything like that is a sign of stress. What happens is that we tend to ignore these signs, or we tend to cover up these signs. We tend to have, if we are procrastinating, we have an excuse for procrastinating. If we are smoking, that's substance abuse and things like that, we have an excuse. We have a very valid reason that we give ourselves to validate that. But it is nevertheless proven that this and many more like this are signs of stress. And you don't want to be harboring on these signs without addressing them. So while on one hand you can address them through pills, which your friendly neighborhood doctor can prescribe you, or even the chemist can, but you know what? 6 of the leading causes of death trace their roots back to stress. Which means if there were pills to really relieve you, it wouldn't have got that bad that you die. In fact, 75 to 90%, and I'm quoting stress.org over here, you can check out the facts for yourself. 75 to 90% of the reasons why you go to a doctor, or we go to doctors, anybody goes to doctors, is because of something related to stress. Which means that if you understand how to navigate your career in life without stress, based on the 5 keys that we're going to be sharing now, you would probably never have to see a doctor again. Yes, it requires reprogramming of body, mind, and spirit, and that's exactly what we're going to learn to do. So, in order to do that, I'm going to take the help of a gentleman who, let me just see where he's gone. Here he is. Yeah. He was the king of a little province, and one day he was cleaning his sword and he accidentally cut his thumb. Little scratch over here. And he yelped, "Oh!" Now his minister was there in the room, and he saw what happened. And the minister was a sickeningly positive person, painfully positive, everything is great. And he said, "Well, that's great, my lord." And the king said, "What's so great about it? I've been cut. You are such a miserable freak. Get out of my sight. I don't want to see you again." And the minister said, "Thank you. That's wonderful, my lord." And he left. The king was outraged. He had to kill somebody that day. He got onto his horse and off he was in the forest to hunt. Now, usually the king would go to the forest with his kotari, but here he was alone, and obviously he got lost. He didn't know how to go about the place. Soon enough, he found some people coming towards him. So he decided to, talk to them. They were also very welcoming. They sort of came towards him. Soon enough, they had surrounded him. He was saying something, they were saying something, and before he knew it, his hands were tied, his legs were tied, and he was on a pole, supported on 4 shoulders. They were cannibals, and they were taking him for the human sacrifice. They were searching for somebody, and then they set him up next to the fire, and just before making the sacrifice, the chief of the cannibals came to inspect him. And he found that there's a cut in his thumb. He says, no, this specimen is not good. Get somebody else. And they untied him, and the king went away. He was so relieved. back on his horse, he fled back to the palace and he called for the minister and he said, "You were right. That was wonderful. If my finger had not been cut, I would be sacrificed by now. But tell me something. When I threw you out of the kingdom, you said thank you. That's wonderful. What is so great about that?" And the minister said, "My lord, if I had gone with you, since I have no cuts, they have sacrificed me." So, what we're coming to, friends, from here is the first of 5 keys that actually make you stress free. I would say that that minister, for all practical purposes, was stress free. And the 5 keys are G.R.E.A.T. They will start with these alphabets, G.R.E.A.T. And the first of these G.R.E.A.T is gratitude. What you've just heard about was gratitude, being grateful. I'm going to talk a little more about each one of these. And as soon as I move to the next one, the one with R, if you got it, if you got G for gratitude, just type great in the comment box. Every time you get one of the keys, type great. Okay? Fantastic. I see the greats have already started.